Hey everyone, welcome to another Tuesday Newsday. I'm Alternis. I'm the Community and Marketing Director for Catalyst, and I'm here with Bryn Bills. Hi, Bryn.
Hello.
What's your title these days with Catalyst?
I have several, as all people in Catalyst do. The one relevant, obviously, for today's conversations is the Leviathans line developer, but I also do a lot of work with the new Runefire deck building game we're doing, as well as really anything else that's needed in a given moment.
You do a lot of the convention planning too. Like you're
I do a lot of the convention planning, yes, with Michael Ciarvella. We do most of the main work for conventions. If you see a convention booth, it is most likely my booth that you are seeing.
Yeah, and he does a good job with it. So
Thank
thank
you.
you for being here. I'm excited to talk to you about stuff. But let's do the news first. If you guys have not seen yet, we did a blog post today on our website and on our store at catalystgamelabs.com for price changes. So we warned through newsletters a couple of months ago that price changes were probably going to come from tariffs. So there's a whole article giving you context about why tariffs and how tariffs and even a previous article written by Lauren that goes into really deep detail if you're curious. But the down and dirty is that box sets and force packs will be going up by $5 at this time, and salvage boxes will be going up by $1. So not too bad. Books will not be changing yet. That could always be reassessed, and with ever changing tariff stuff, we just don't know. But that will be going into effect about mid-June. So if you have stuff you want to get, go ahead and head on over to store.catalystgamelabs.com to get your stuff before those price changes go into effect. So and you can also I think on our store and at catalystgamelabs.com, you can sign up for our newsletter so that you get these notifications if you're not already. So check that out. Don't hesitate as well if you have questions. Feel free to put them in chat. Just ping Dave, our moderator on duty, to collect any questions for us for the end of the show. So the past month or two that we've been on, I've been kind of going through the release schedule with you guys, and we just did a big review of the release schedule because we've of course had to hold merch in China or delay manufacturing because of tariffs and that situation. So things have moved. So I just want to share with you guys what our current tentative plan is for the next few months. So May 14th, we released Inner Sphere Pursuit Lance Force Pack, Legendary Mech Warriors 3 Force Pack. We are a little late on the Salvage Box Mercenaries Legendary 2 and 3 Salvage Box because those have to get broken apart from the display pieces, so those are coming. Battle mats are paused. We have a whole bunch that should have been coming out and should be coming out over the next few months, but we are going to have to wait on a bunch of those for the next manufacturer shipment that we put through. So June, usually there's 2 release dates. Most months there's 2 release dates that we're allowed to put through our warehouse. But we are going to push that to 1 so that we have enough to release each month for you guys. So next month, June, is going to have the 3rd Star League Strike Team Force Pack. We are going to have, on our store, we released the Black Remnant Command Lance in January, but that is coming to retail in June. Inner Sphere Assault Lance Force Pack and the Battlefield Support Heavy Battle and Sweep Lances Force Packs are all going to release in June. Oh, and then my exception to the rule on the battle mats, Legendary Battles Twycross is going to release. That was going to be a later release because we had inventory on stuff. We've been kind of holding things to release regularly with Mercenaries, but because of tariffs, we decided to move the stuff that we had up. Then we have in July, we've moved up the McCarran's Cavalry Assault Lance Force Pack. That was a Barnes & Noble exclusive that started in December, so that ends in June and will release in July. Battle Mat Legendary Battles Thunder Rift Misery. Is that how you say it? Misery? Bryn, do you know?
Misery. It's the name of the place.
Spelled misery, but I keep
Yeah.
hearing people on calls say like misery and stuff like that, and I get confused.
I mean, I could be wrong, but Randall says misery, and I'm pretty
Okay.
comfortable with what he says.
Okay. It every time I heard it, I like twitched a little. I'm
Yeah,
like, okay.
no, it's misery. That's the
Okay.
location.
Thunder Rift Misery. And then we are also going to do the third Star League Battle Group Force Pack and the Battlefield Support Emplacements Force Pack that we saw at Adepticon. So that's July. And then from there, it is all dependent on shipments. So we have some things that we think are going to be here in time, but we'll let you know as we get closer. But that's the next June, the rest of May, June, and July that I can share with you guys on what's coming out. Cool. That's the BattleTech news. Shadowrun is still on track since its book releases here. We've got Deadly Arts came out in May, in March. Margin Calls just came out in on May 14th. And then next up is July, Shadowrun Risks and Rewards. We also have some stuff that came out on the newsletter as well through our store. I know we have a new mission, Shadowrun mission that came out. So if you're following the missions from conventions and stuff like that and want to do your own, I'm going to get to my new arrivals just so I can double check myself here. Yeah, it's called Trailblazers. And that's 208104. So that's out now. We have, I know I mentioned the last time we were on Back of Beyond by Marie Bilodeau. That's out, and we now have Augment issue 2 out. So you can go to our web store, you can go to it's print on demand as well. So all of those are there for you. What else do I have? Oh, there should be on here too. We had a free short story for this month for Shadowrun. Let me find it. I think it's called Slappy's Day Out, which is fun. I like that a lot. I'll try to find a link for you guys while I'm looking around here. But so that's our Shadowrun news. We've got for RPGs, just a little update for you guys. So Voltron, I think it's 87% of people have filled out their pledge manager. So that's good. I know a couple people are still waiting on final details of the board game that's coming out, which we did get some more details a few weeks ago on Tuesday Newsday from Mike Ritchie being on. So if you haven't seen that, you should check that out. And then Frostpunk, our pledge manager should be getting up and going pretty soon here. We're pretty excited for that too. And we'll have, we should, I think, have some of those games. I know we're going to have Voltron and Frostpunk at GameholeCon this year. I can't remember if we're going to have anything for Origins or Gen Con. I'm going to have to check that. And I am going to talk a little bit about Origins, so maybe I'll find it when I bring that up. What else do we have? Board game division. Lots of fun stuff happening there. We've got, so the most recently released was Flippin' Ninja. We've got some sizzle reels and stuff and nice photography that's going to be coming out here soon. We did post it on our YouTube page as well, so you might have already seen it. We have the Quincy's Tavern board game that's coming to Gen Con, along with, I've seen the Quincy mugs now, and they look really nice. They're like the curved tavern mugs, so those look really cool. So if you are a fan of Quincy, definitely want to check that out at Gen Con. He is going to be at Gen Con with us, so you'll be able to pick up the game, get it signed if you want to, and have a chat. Runefire, I'm sure we'll talk more.
I believe he's also at Origins.
Is he? Is that official?
Yeah, he'll be at Origins. I don't think the game's gonna be there, but he will be at Origins.
Okay, I wasn't sure yet if that was officially happening.
No, Mike had told me, and I hope I'm not spoiling someone for Mike's surprise or whatever, but Mike had told me specifically that he is making it to Origins and will be at our booth at some point.
Awesome, cool. So that's exciting. So you'll get to see him twice. And then let's talk, I guess, a little bit of Runefire. We've been releasing the bi-weekly dev blogs, but we've heard a lot from Randall on Runefire. How's it been working through Runefire for you, Bryn?
It's been good. I mean, we are basically done from a development of the game standpoint. Where there's a couple little things that we're cleaning up at the edges, but mostly everything is just moving all of our various work into, you know, actual usable content instead of scribble notes is where most of the game is actually at right now. But I've loved working on the project, and I've loved working with Paizo in their world. It's been awesome.
Awesome. It's got to be exciting to kind of branch out into something so in depth. Did you do Dragonfire too?
I actually did not do Dragonfire. I was not around at that time.
Oh, okay.
I was off on my mission actually from a church at the time, so
neat.
I missed all of Dragonfire. So this has been a newer experience for me.
Cool. Well, I want to hear more of that process. We'll probably get into that as I start chatting with you here.
Yep.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else board game wise that I'm missing. I know Kung Fu Panda Street Food Showdown is still happening this year. My brain's just not finding it right now. If there's anything else I'm allowed to talk about.
Yeah, I don't know what is and isn't allowed to be talked about in that category. So
if I had my notes up, we didn't meet yesterday is usually when we meet for board games, so it's all fresh on my mind. But,
they're all off in Vegas.
Yeah, they're at the Vegas Licensing Expo, so I'm disconnected this week.
Yep.
But we do have Origins coming up next month, and you can register for events. And the demo team, our friends over there, sent us the events that are going to be going on. So Wednesday, there's going to be as requested if you need. Okay, just making sure from the notes. Okay. Wednesday, we're going to have Build a Runner, First Taste, SRM, missions from the 2083-09 through 13. We've got Thursday, Build a Runner, First Taste, CMPs, and Shadowrun missions are all going. We have and it looks like there's a Prime mission too on Thursday. We've got Leviathan's Shakedown Cruise and Leviathan's King of the Skies events. And for Battletech on Thursday, we have Alpha Strike Academy, Melee Challenge, Grinders, Drafted for War, Battletech Boot Camp. We have Battletech missions 302701 and 2, which is Welcome to Aber whatever, and Good News. And then those are the names of the missions. And then Alpha Strike, we've got Death to All Mercs, Davian and Kurita Force, and Spaceport Scramble. We've got the Battletech RPG, Reviving the Fallen as well. Friday, that's a lot of stuff. Friday, we've got the Battletech RPG, Reviving the Fallen again, more Build a Runner, First Taste, Shadowrun CMPs, SRMs, and Prime missions, Leviathan's Shakedown Cruise, King of the Skies. We've got Alpha Strike 350 Doubles Tournament, Alpha Strike Death to All Mercs again, Davian and Kurita, Battletech missions 3 and 4, Battletech Boot Camp, Alpha Strike Academy, Grinder, Solaris Melee Challenge. And then also with the Battletech RPG, the second mission, The Enemy's Cure. Saturday, we've got, it doesn't look like I have any Sunday. I wonder if that's right or wrong. I don't know. We've got Build a Runner, First Taste, CMPs, SRMs, One Prime mission, Leviathan's Admiral's Cup, and the Shakedown Cruise. Alpha Strike 350 Singles Tournament, Death to All Mercs. Pick your missions 5 and 6. So you can have a whole weekend filled with Battletech missions if you want. Alpha Strike Academy, Boot Camp, Grinder, Solaris Melee Challenge Finals, and then the third mission in the Battletech RPG, Ghosts in Memoria. Whew. So it's going to be a busy Origins weekend. I've got a Gen Con one too that's going to be even longer, but I'll do that after we get through Origins, guys.
That's a pretty long list of Gen Con. So
so lots of stuff to play. Also check out the Origins site if things are full. I know I saw a screenshot of a lot of sold out events. Keep watching it because people drop all the time and new missions or new events are added. So just check it out and see what's available. And then fiction, I believe for I think Michael put in chat for me. We've got Lone Wolf and Fox, a Battletech serial novel by Brian Young, went on pre-order last week. We've got the free Battletech fiction for the month is Objective Raid by Russell Zimmerman. I can't do it. We talked about Augment. Oh, and then we've also got out Apparent Catastrophe by the Michael Stackpole. So all of that happening. Thank you, Dave, for posting all of those in chat. You're a superstar. All right. So that's fiction. In terms of appearances, we are at Astra next week for board games. Like we mentioned, a couple of us are at Licensing Expo in Vegas this week, and ACD is this week for our retailer friends. So lots of events happening, lots of information. Man, that was a lot of news this week.
Yeah.
I need a break. Just so you guys know too, we are about to talk with Bryn about the stuff he's been working on, including Leviathans. But a lot of Bryn's work is now done on Leviathans. So Tyler of Kickstarter fame is running tech for us today. So you might hear his voice chime in with some of these answers that maybe Bryn and I don't have. And if Bryn, Tyler, and I don't have them, then Talon has them. So we'll just blame Talon whenever we don't know the answer. It's fine. But let's kind of get into the Leviathan side first. So you've handed everything off to manufacturing and it's pretty much out of your hands now, is my understanding, right?
Oh, we're well past that. I mean, it's been out of my hands as the Kickstarter product for well over half a year now. I mean, it's all printed, it's all produced. It is a finished product from the Kickstarter product side of things and my interaction with its development. Everything has been created. A lot of it has already shipped. So yeah, I probably spend a couple hours a week on Leviathans at the most of late, just because all of it's now with our people that handle shipping and that various coordination. I still do some work developing the next series of products that will come after it. But because of the various delays and the tariffs, there hasn't been a huge push to get that done yet.
Yeah.
And so those things will happen, but they're not on anyone's rush at the moment.
Yeah. I know. So in terms of shipping, I know we were pushing even during production to get a big boat out when there was the temporary reprieve in tariffs, so that we could get things into port, which with everyone doing the same thing at the same time, still didn't get to port fast enough.
Yeah.
So we got hit with a real big tariff bill for Leviathan stuff, but that isn't going to affect our backers, which we've announced several times. But so all of that stuff is for the US is in the US, but my understanding is that China and the manufacturing was finishing everything for the other hubs, and we were finishing our agreements with those hubs for fulfillment as well, correct? Is that your understanding too?
So that is my understanding. So I've got a statement from Talon, and instead of parsing it, I'm going to read it verbatim because I'm going to say something wrong and then someone will get angry at me. So I'm just go right from, the person interacting with all of that. Yeah, so Leviathans is the final stage of fulfillment. We're working with a new logistics partner for backers in North America and rest of the world. During that process, we caught a few issues with the shipping estimates, so we took a pause to double check all the costs and a way to update rates. We've also been sharing product dimensions and weights with logistics companies to help finalize fulfillment plans for EU, UK, Asia, and Australia, which I assume is just everybody outside of the US. But Once we've got all the updated numbers in hand, we'll get shipping charges live and start moving product out the door. That is my official statement from Talon on the situation for shipping at this moment.
Tyler is crying in a Discord chat right now because Talon delegated to Tyler to write it because Tyler's been doing a lot of this work side by side with Talon. So that's actually Tyler's words.
There it is. I did not know that. There we go.
You didn't have to say it.
Well,
that's super funny. Are you kidding?
The cry emoji got to me. So, but yeah, you deserve credit for all the work that's going in. I know it's been hours and hours of staring at spreadsheets for Tyler. So, credit where it's due. So basically, my understanding, Tyler, if you can port in here, is that we have train of thought. Sorry. So that we got the shipping estimates, we pushed back, and now we're getting a new wave of those shipping estimates, or have those already come in?
Yeah, no, there was a pretty... It wasn't immediately apparent whenever we first got those rates, but as we were going through and checking the numbers, it was difficult because working with a new fulfillment partner, we didn't know if they were using case numbers or if they were like what types of item counts they were using, and we noticed quite a few inconsistencies. Not necessarily with initially with the rates themselves, because the rates didn't look immediately awful, or off, rather. It was just the item numbers whenever we were checking BackerKit, and we saw a major discrepancy between, oh, well, this one says that are they referring to packages? Because it says that this is, it either means 3 items or 3 packages, and this person is getting 70 items.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, another person in that same column would be getting, the same amount of items that they have in BackerKit. So we started like clarifying with them, and of course I'm not a direct part of that communication. Talon is the main liaison. I'm just in the sheets.
So we're waiting to get that resolved so that we can re-verify and get those uploaded to backers for shipping costs, right?
Yes, and based on the timeline that Mercenaries had with getting everything uploaded, I would say that we would be able to get it in same day. Whereas with Mercenaries, it did take a little while longer because BackerKit can only upload so many at once. Right.
But we always find new and fun and exciting ways to break BackerKit. I know that Kickstarter is now doing a new pledge manager, and I've been talking with the head of games over there, and he's like, how do we get you to come on over and use our pledge manager? And I'm like, respectfully, you're new at this, and we break the ones that are really good at this. So give us a little, we might need to build up a little trust. So.
You go stress test it, and then maybe we'll talk.
So yeah, we always find new and exciting ways to break things, and because we push the limits. We want to make as many options as possible, and sometimes that the technology isn't ready for that. But once shipping quotes are updated, we should be pretty ready to go on fulfillment for US and rest of world. I know, Tyler, weigh in if I'm behind on this, but I know that we are working on, are the deals with the hubs finalized, or are those for the international hubs, or what are we waiting on to ship to those hubs at this point?
That, to my knowledge, I believe that, and this is just a step right above speculation because I'm not a part of the specific, those particular conversations, but I do believe right now it's primarily the money that is being ironed out. That is the main part, because we've already worked through weights, dims, dimensional weights, all of that goodness. and getting those translated for those to be used. How final the deals are, I could not tell you.
Okay. So good to follow up with. I know we have an entire list of stuff for Talon that we've sent over for like wave 4 for mercenaries and stuff like that. So one more good question to ask. So Bryn, kind of seeing it about to get into customers' hands, like, do you feel when is the sigh of like it's done? Did it come when you handed everything over to manufacturing? Is it going to be when people have these in their hands?
It's when people have it in their hands.
Yeah.
I absolutely still feel, the little bit of that pressure every day, even though I have nothing left to do with it, because I do care about this and I know how long it's been pushed back and all the various issues and how badly people want it. And I will never fully be able to like let that Sigh of Relief go until most people have it in their hands. Like obviously I want it on store shelves as well, but that's a bonus at this point. I just want people that have like paid for it and have been dedicated for so long to this brand to finally get what they've been waiting for.
It is really nice to even though it's not confirmed yet, but I get to work on the sell sheets to go to distributors and media and reviewers and stuff like that, and it's nice seeing it on the list of like, hey, if fulfillment is done, here's what the release schedule would look like in a couple months, but it could get pushed.
Yeah, that info always kills me.
Yeah.
It's funny,
it's on the list.
It's almost on the reverse for me because I have this problem where, back when it was still stuff that I need to get done, I didn't have to just sit there and just know there's nothing I can do about it. That there's always, I can work an extra hour a day. I can push someone to do something. I had the ability to get us closer to the finish line, and that ability has long since left me. There's just nothing else I can do anymore to make this happen. And so I just have to wait with everyone else for people to get it.
That's fair. That's a fair feeling of your hands are tied and now we gotta trust other people to move the needle. But things are still happening. Didn't just a week or two or maybe longer ago, because time is irrelevant. Didn't Mike Ritchie just release a new Levs book?
So that because that was still part of the Kickstarter. There were various stories connected to the Kickstarter, and that was one of them. Was a short story that Mike had just put out there. So yeah, that's absolutely happening. And again, I still have been doing work on Leviathans across the board. I mean, the three, I've talked about this at a couple other live streams at shows, but there are the 3 fleet packs for the factions, the Americans, the Austro-Hungarians, and the Japanese that weren't full sets in the Kickstarter. I've worked and are nearly finished already from a design side, as well as a bonus product that we're going to be working on. So we've still been doing stuff on the side. I've still been able to work and expanded all this and have fun. And so all that's still happening on the side. It's just that the main stuff is all just waiting for this to be figured out.
Cool. Awesome. And in the meantime, it's not that you have less to do. You've been working now on Runefire. What has that entire process been like? Because I'm on the outskirts of it where I kind of hear the updates and see, and it feels like this massive game and this massive list and all these scenarios and stuff like that. What has this process been like from your perspective?
It's been a lot of fun. I mean, I get to work with Paizo and their world, and work with the people that designed Crossfire and Dragonfire, and working with Randall especially to bring forward this game that so many people love into another setting people love. And so it's been a lot of fun. It's been very interesting as well because from the beginning, one of the bigger questions was how much to change the game from Dragonfire, because obviously there's some very interesting and very real differences between the world of Pathfinder and D&D, but they also are still have a lot in common. They're still fantasy role-playing worlds built in a very similar setup. And so from the beginning, it's trying to figure out the process of how much do you really need to change to make it feel like its own unique thing, versus should it just mostly stay the same mechanics. And that was a very interesting process to go through, piece by piece. And some of the blog posts that we'll be putting up, I don't think they've gone up yet, are going to talk about some of those very specific differences between, what's come before and what we're doing this time to make Runefire its own unique game and not just a reskin of Crossfire and Dragonfire.
Cool. Okay. As we feel free to tell me you can't talk about it if you can't talk about it or don't know. But as we move closer and closer to a Kickstarter for Runefire, are there any pieces that are being added that you're excited about that were specifically designed for the Kickstarter, or how are your feelings about that?
So the Kickstarter, I have gone on a personal little warpath, and maybe Randall would tell me not to say too much, but that's probably okay. But I've gone on a personal warpath because, as we've discussed, and from my own experience with Kickstarters, I love Catalyst's ambition and its desire for scope and to do everything it can think of, but that has also, caused some problems.
What?
Yeah. And again, it's done amazing things. It's such amazing work has come out of it, but it has created problems on the back end because of that. And so my personal goal is to find the perfect line between, making sure people get an awesome, exciting series of products without, offering everything in the kitchen sink at the same time, because more stuff can come out later. So like the Kickstarter is predominantly going to be, the base box, as well as a cool alternate version of the base box that I can't think I mentioned yet, but we're going to have an alternate version for it that I'm excited about. It's going to have adventures that are going to be coming out alongside it to continue that story. Again, if you've played Dragonfire, it's in a very similar avenue to that. So there's a story that will be thread from the base box and continue through these adventures, as well as some unique special items that we are still making sure with Paizo that we're allowed to do properly, but hopefully can get through and is everything that anyone that really loves Paizo would love to get their hands on.
Awesome. Cool. I'm very excited about the dev blogs. Have you written any of those, or is it all Randall at this point? Or?
It is Randall, myself, and another person we work with, Christian Frosig, who's kind of the third person working on this with us. And so we're each writing roughly a third. And so I don't even know which ones have come out yet, because I write my thing and then let someone else take care of when it goes out. So I don't know if any of the ones I've written have even gone out yet, but yeah.
I think we've only had 2 or 3 at this point. But again, time is ridiculous for me, so I am losing track. Did you know it's May 2025? Like, it's wild.
Yeah, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
So, in addition to Runefire and planning for these conventions, I know with tariffs and all of that insecurity that we might, and I've mentioned on here before that some of our con presence might pull back a little, like we weren't able to do UK Games Expo and stuff like that. But what are we going to be at this year?
Yeah, so obviously we are still going to be at Origins, and then we're going to be at Gen Con as our 2 big shows. The past that, it gets a little less clear. There are several shows that happen. Labor Day is the one at the beginning of September, right?
Yeah.
I can never, ever remember Memorial Labor. It always throws me off. But Labor Day weekend has had 3 shows in the past, and we are still trying to figure out which of those we're going to. I would give it as confident as we can be that there will be some sort of Catalyst thing at PAX West, just because it's so close to home. Whether or not that's still an actual booth or that we team up with someone else to do that, I'm sure there will be some presence. My desire is to still also get us to Nova Open out in DC again this year, but still got to make sure that everything's fine on that end. But that is absolutely the plan.
Cool.
PAX Unplugged is far enough out that we have not made specific dedications either way. Again, I expect that to be occurring, and I am far enough away from what happens with Essen that that's much more of a Randall question on how that's all working out. I believe that no matter what, Randall intends to be there with some sort of presence, but whether or not that is still our standard booth presence, I think remains to be seen.
Okay. And then I know we've already paid to go to Gamehole Con, so I'd love to pull you in for some help with our booth plans for that.
Sure.
So
yeah. I think that carries us through every convention through 2025.
Okay.
Obviously, we don't have anything set in stone yet out for 2026, but I believe that carries us through 2025.
Okay. All right, cool. Anything else you want to share about Levs or Runefire or other work you're doing before we jump on over to Q&A?
There will be before anyone asks the question, there was the questions about the Leviathans points on the ships. That has been turned into a fancy document and will be going out shortly. It will 100% be in people's hands before the game itself is, but that is all ready to go out when we're ready to. I don't think I have anything else. I mean, I work on several other things, but we're not quite ready to announce some of those yet. But yeah, I think that is about it on my end.
Awesome. All right, well, let's head on over to Q&A. Don't forget to tag Dave, our moderator, with questions. And we'll start with our guest questions here. Big Red asks, how's it going, Bryn? How you doing?
What's up, Big Red? How you doing?
Aw. Wargriz asks, other than the wolf, what are your favorite Leviathans?
As I've been asked before, and I will always jump back and forth because there's two separate ways to answer the question. It is aesthetically or mechanically. If I am referring to aesthetics, then the Italian battleship, the Vulcano, is my favorite. I love the look of that guy. I think he's a gorgeous, I think that was a Jaylani design, and his perfect way to make a race car looking Ferrari diesel punk ship it's so good. I think it's fantastic. Outside of that one, again, my other aesthetic I'd go to is the Japanese cruiser. The Kawa, I think, is a fantastic diesel punk into steampunk look of a Japanese ship. That's absolutely not really how a ship like that would really be made, but captures such a cool Japanese aesthetic into a steel flying ship, and I love it. From a mechanical standpoint, outside of the wolf, I mean, but it's wrong because I just answer the wolf every time. I feel like I want to ignore that, but if I must, then I will always love. I mean, there's the Austro-Hungarian cruisers that have the ramming. They're so much fun to interact with. And they have, again, from an aesthetic standpoint, they have a really strong bow for ramming that just gives them a great look on the field. And then I can't not choose the French Pont-Briand for being such a perfect knife fighting, getting close, dive in and out ship. I think that covers all my best answers there.
Cool. If you want to answer this one, you can. It's from Big Red. Bryn, what works would you consider to be your most Sisyphean task at the moment?
I mean, objectively, I can't say anything other than Leviathans is my most Sisyphean task. And it's always a 2-step forward, 1-step back process for so many years now. Almost the definition of it. Feel like you're almost at the end, and then there's some other issue that rolls the boulder back down the hill. It has absolutely been. Again, there's so much fantastic there, and I'm so proud of what we've made. I'm very confident in people's love of what they will get when it gets into their hands. And I'm excited to do more stuff for it going forward, but it absolutely has been Sisyphean in nature.
Cool. Awesome. Battletech questions. Let's see. Kalis's gaming table. I know I keep asking, but any idea when restocks for Hinterlands will be received and sent out? I thought, let me see if I am crazy. With Talon being out, I can't ask him on the fly. But I know I've messaged him in the past.
Yeah, I just got a text from him not that long ago, so he might be.
He is idle on Discord, and that's usually how I talk with him. Let's see if I can find an answer from last week. I don't think.
They're just partying in Vegas, what do you know?
You know. he can answer, but it might not be a sober answer. Oh, his icon just went to the little phone, so he's checking.
Oh, I see that.
End question. Oh, it just went back to idle. He ignored it. Kalos, I'm sorry. I'm gonna specifically, because I had just earlier today sent him a message with 5 questions, like numbered. So I'm just gonna add number 6. Hinterlands up when. Okay. What else do I got? Metal Carnage, any updates on the MUL overhaul? I know every time I hear about it, it's that we're getting so close, but I don't. Have you heard anything, Bryn?
I have heard the very same thing.
Yeah. I did have a meeting last week with Josh, who I know is working on it. Maybe I can get an update from him too. Any news on Newsday? That way, if I don't have an answer this week, hopefully I'll have one next week.
Yep.
Solaire asked, don't know if you can give any updates, but how's the Aces release looking? Nothing I can really share yet, because we're looking at the second half of this year, and with the first set, again, we had such plans for this year of like all these releases every single month, with force packs and with books and with everything, and just tariffs have really messed with that. So I know that like tentatively the first book is still or the first box is still on slate for this year, but I don't know much more than that right now. SLDF Gunslinger, when will all the unabridged versions of Wolves of the Border be released in audiobook form? It is the only book by Robert that Sherritt that has not been released. I'm not sure. I know that that one I can send over to John for fiction. I don't think that one was on our docket for this year, but
Unacceptable.
Things change all the time. There's a lot of BattleTech books.
But it's my favorite BattleTech book.
Is it really?
It's my favorite, and that's what matters. I want it. Yeah.
From TN. I sent the message, so we'll see if I get an answer here while we're live. Leviathans questions. I have a whole bunch of these. In the Leviathans, this is from Tombo Karasu. In Leviathans Kickstarter, I vaguely recall there being something about new style cards for any official French and British ships that aren't in any of the new boxes. Is that still on?
Sorry, can you repeat that question one more time?
In the Leviathans Kickstarter, I vaguely recall there being something about new style cards for any official French and British ships that aren't in any of the new boxes. Is that still on?
Oh yeah, there was the 2012 ship card pack, and so it should have been it's every card and ship that was not officially done as one of the packs was released as its own individual pack that I believe everyone is getting. So yeah, you will, if all of your old ship cards can be handed over to the newer version. I mean, they both work fine, but except the old ones don't have the AA, so you do technically need that. But yeah.
Okay, cool. The Commuter Zombie asked, what is the current status of Kickstarter rewards for Leviathans backers in UK, EU, and the rest of the world? I mentioned we need Talon to answer that one, but things should be heading over from China to the hubs. In case you weren't here for this part, we talked about how during manufacturing, before it was done, we shipped a bunch of stuff to the US to try to get ahead of tariffs. And so my understanding is that manufacturing is finished now. And I know we've been negotiating with the different hubs and stuff. So I just need an update from Talon on where we are with that. So I don't have an official answer yet, but things are moving forward. It feels like moving a mountain. Like you're pushing and pushing and pushing, and it moves an inch like from last week to this week. So So appreciate your patience as we get all of this moving. Wargriz asks, what are the Kickstarter exclusive cards for Leviathans?
Oh, they were cards. I don't know if the question is like what's on them or like there are 5 Kickstarter exclusive cards that are going out to everybody that backed it. Each one from different factions, and they were made by a whole slew of different people that we brought in for it or won a raffle a while ago. But I don't know if there's specific like what are actually on the cards or their names. I'd have to go pull those up.
Okay. The commuter zombie asks, after backers get their rewards, will there be enough stock for retailers?
The answer to that is absolutely yes. When that's actually going to retail because of the tariffs and everything, I don't have an answer on, but there's absolutely more stock than just backers. That was always the intention to release it very shortly after it goes into backers' hands.
And that's where I get to see them on the sell sheets and push them back every month.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. Almost everything. There is obviously, there's the exclusive stuff like the Kickstarter cards and various things that will not be going into retail, but everything else was printed extra to go into retail after the Kickstarter.
Cool. Commuter Zombie asks, can we get the missing French and German ships in the Leviathans TTS mod?
Let me make a note of that. I thought that had been gotten already. Let me ping real quick. The answer is 100% yes. Will.
And then while we wait, Commuter Zombie is on it with all these questions. With several Leviathan stories featuring boarding actions, are there any plans for adding rules for that to the game?
As any of these questions amongst, is there a plan on adding? The answer is almost always yes, but with the but being, I care first and foremost about getting this out and in people's hands, and then sky's the limit on what we do after that.
Cool. Do you want me to pause for the TTS mod question, or you need another minute?
You're good.
Okay. Night Moss asks, what will Sky Admiral ship cards and character art ship with fulfillment or after?
That is shipping at the same time, but it will come in 2 different directions because that is not going through China, through the warehouse and all of that. So it will be filling at the same time, but it will not be in that same package.
Night Moss also asks, if shipping fulfillment begins before Origins or Gen Con, will CGL bring Leviathan's products to those cons?
No, that is not our intention. As always, we will, as much as it saddens me, the goal is to have it in people's hands before we are at least the most of the way through fulfillment before we are selling it ourselves.
Corehammer asks, Pirate/Merc Lev fleets win?
Well, so for mercenaries, those are already there with the Hannibal fleet box. The Hannibal campaign box has Swiss mercenaries. Pirates, I will go back to the previous yes later.
Cool. RPG question. Grom asks, will we have our Voltron books in hand before Gamehole Con? I can't attend Gamehole Con this year, sadly. Unknown at this point, because not only are we relying on the book dev, but we've got the plushie and we've got the board game, which are tariffed items. So that makes it a little more complicated. So it's kind of a play by ear as we go. And once, like, I know Voltron board game is at approvals right now from NBC Universal. But it depends on how fast all that goes, when we can get our prices, what tariffs are at the time of manufacturing and finishing and all of that. So unfortunately unknown right now. Other questions and late questions here. Ty Guy asks, how can I be a CGL distributor? we're doing a direct retail program. We're smoke testing that right now for wholesale, but I'm not sure. Like we work with our main distributors, but I'm not sure if there's a process for like an independent distributor.
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah. But retailers are going to be able to order from our website pretty soon. We're doing a smoke test right now with a couple of stores. So Mad Murph asks, Battletech Mercenary Vehicle Card reprints coming soon. Marker not coming off as easy after 25 games. Or will they be on MUL so folks can reprint? I'm not sure. I don't have an answer to that one. I can put that in.
Well, I can definitely tell you that when it's done, all those cards intend to be on the MUL, but that goes back to I don't know when that's going to be done. So
Right. And I don't have responses from any of our friends yet. A lot of them are traveling this week. So
yeah.
Night Moss, will we see the massive British ship from the Geisterwolf protocol in game?
Again, I think that has to go back to there's nothing I wouldn't love to do, but just don't have any specific plans or dates other than get things in people's hands and see how they go, and then we go from there. Don't think I have a more specific one on that.
Okay. Larabic asks, will the quality of future Leviathan models be by this producer, or will you shop around to find someone to make something closer to the first versions?
We have been overall satisfied with what we've gotten out of this. We do not intend to be moving to a different person, to a different group for making these models.
Yeah, I think like you've commented a couple times that you're excited for people to get these in their hands and see what they're getting. So cool. Any other last minute questions before we sign off? Feel free to put them in chat. Otherwise, I really appreciate Bryn you taking some time to talk about Levs. Got my t-shirt of support on for today, and excited to see all of the events and photos at Origins and Gen Con and everywhere else this year, and getting these out into people's hands and then to retail. So thank you for all of your work on this. And then on Runefire.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you guys all for joining us. I don't see any last minute questions jumping up in chat. So thank you guys. I think for next week, we are going to try to have, God help me, Lauren Coleman on Tuesday Newsday to talk about tariffs. I don't know if you guys can hear, but Tyler just said, oh no, in the background. To talk about tariffs and price changes and the articles that he's written and the state of the industry and Catalyst and stuff like that. So it's a good time, I think, to have him on to talk about that stuff. So we'll see you guys next week. And thank you all for being here. Thank you, Bryn.
Yep.
Bye.